There's no such thing as superhero fatigue. That term is cooked up by trembling studio executives and clickbait goblins, desperate to explain why the magic gravy train has gone careening off the rails on the way down and exploded into a fireball of bad wigs, CGI sludge, and cameos more desperate than drunk Uncle Polly at a funeral. Superhero movies are not dying of natural causes. They're dying from bad storytelling. Or more accurately, they've been murdered. Death by dialogue, they call it. The characters talk like they're auditioning for Shakespeare in a food court. Sure, it's technically dinner theater, but you're confused on why Othello is stabbing someone over shoes. And that's just before we choke on plot holes the size of Kevin Feige's desk. Let's clear the air like a fart in a spacesuit. Problem isn't superhero fatigue. No, the audience hasn't grown tired of people in capes saving the world from CGI tornadoes. The audience is exhausted from watching the same cape shit plot rotating like a gas station hot dog, only with fewer surprises after you eat it, like waking up in a Denny's parking lot wearing someone else's shoes. You didn't even know they made size 12 pumps, but they are comfortable nonetheless. You've heard it all before. People are just done with superheroes. Yes, and I'm done with kale. That doesn't mean I've sworn off food. The problem isn't too many superheroes. The problem is too many movies that feel like they were written by someone assembling IKEA furniture with their feet. Films where the villain's plan involves a quantum fracture, a magical wombat, and at least 2 timelines that no one understands. Not even the wombat. Audiences will happily watch 900 episodes of a show about a man cooking meth in his underwear, but once you explain they need to watch 7 prequels in a web series to know why the villain hates Tuesdays, people start foaming at the mouth like seagulls on their 4th Alka-Seltzer tablet. They want a film, not a final exam. Once upon a time, superhero movies had heroes, people you could root for, people who might accidentally level a city block, sure, but they'd feel bad about it afterwards. Now every superhero has the emotional range of a potato. They're either dead on the inside, quirky to the point of needing a restraining order, or just incredibly confused about whether they're the protagonist or the comic relief. Take Thor, once a noble space Viking, now basically a gym instructor who got lost at Disneyland. Or the Hulk, once a terrifying force of nature, now he's She-Hulk's therapist who's into healing crystals and caged-free eggs. This is not evolution. This is character assassination carried out by a writer's room high on penis a lot of vape juice and marketing data. The storytelling these days is like watching a soap opera written by an actual bar of soap. Every movie has a twist, and another twist, and a surprise cameo, and a multiverse wormhole, and a post-credit scene where a talking plant says, "It's time." Time for what? No one knows. They'll flesh that story out later when they're halfway done shooting it. It's like attending a dinner party where you never get food, just menus. In the old days, Hollywood exported American stories. Cowboy hats, explosions, whiskey, truth, justice, and a guy in tights punching an asteroid. But now we get globalized heroic slime. In their quest to please everyone from Los Angeles to Lithuania to Lunar Base 5, studios have engineered superhero movies to be so universal they've become sterile, like a movie made entirely out of hotel wallpaper and oatmeal. Sure, you can lick your way through the wall, but you'll never get that deposit back. You ever notice that most of these films don't really take place anywhere anymore? It's always some just vague city with vague problems, solved by vague people in glowing vague suits. It's not culture, it's content. And content is just a word for entertainment that's given up on trying. The dialogue now sounds like it was written by Siri during a firmware update. No one speaks like a human anymore. It's all exposition and punchlines. A character will get stabbed through the chest and 2 seconds later, they're cracking a joke about parking meters. Hey, you okay? Just a flesh wound reminds me of my last relationship. Sir, you were just disemboweled by a demonic space squid. Maybe take a beat. And then there's the multiverse, Hollywood's favorite new way to justify bringing back dead characters, rewriting canon, and cramming 800 Spider-Men into one film without being bothered to write an actual story. Every film becomes a casserole of callbacks, and you start to feel like you're stuck in a DVD menu that's been looping since Circuit City was open. The emotional stakes vanish. Why cry when a character dies if there's a 60% chance their multiverse clone will appear in the next movie with slightly different hair? Who here can't wait for Avengers Doomsday to drop? We're not making movies anymore, we're making phases. Back in the day, we had sequels, maybe a trilogy. Now we got phases, sagas, crossover events that require a CIA debriefing to understand. You can't just sit down and watch a movie anymore. You need a corkboard, red string, and a YouTuber in your ear explaining how this glowing rock was actually teased in episode 3 of Iron Spleen Origins. Watching a superhero movie used to be like eating pizza. Now it's like assembling a nuclear warhead. You used to have a hero, maybe a plucky sidekick. Now every hero has a team, an emotionally wounded AI, 2 rival love interests, a a talking animal, and a multiverse variant who works in IT. It's too much. Nobody gets developed. Everyone gets one line. Half the film is just awkward glances and snappy comebacks, while the plot does donuts in the parking lot. Cameos used to be fun, like Nick Fury would show up and we get goosebumps. Now the movies have so many cameos it feels like Comic-Con sneezed onto the script. Makes you sit there and go, wait, is that the guy from the 2004 toothpaste commercial? Yes, but in this universe, he's the cybernetic orthodontist with a thirst for justice. It's less about story and more about bingo. The studios throw faces on the screen and hope you clap like trained dolphins. But the thing about dolphins is, they're too wet for you to know when they're crying. At some point, Hollywood decided the best way to make a movie was not to write a good one, or sometimes not write at all, but input key words and see what trends. They'll say people like purple lasers, or add a sassy robot, and make the villain misunderstood. Bonus points if they were bullied in preschool. What you get is the cinematic equivalent of soup made entirely from screenshots. Tastes like cardboard. Feels like deja vu. Ends with a teaser for something you'll forget by next Monday. Want people to get interested again? Stop pretending every film needs a cinematic universe. Write characters that sound like humans. Bring back villains who want to blow up the moon just because they hate cheese. Stop trying to write a 4-quadrant screenplay. Young adult males is your audience, the end. Fewer multiverses, more fun. Boobs that are big with no agenda other than we like to stare at them. Tell a complete story with an ending. Yes, those still exist. And finally, stop trying to please everyone. If your movie is so generic it could be dubbed in Swahili without changing a single cultural reference, you've made a movie for no one. Superhero fatigue isn't real. Bad movie fatigue is. Audiences haven't lost interest, they've lost trust. And trust, like a superhero franchise, is hard to earn back after a dozen disappointments and a few screaming goats. The genre isn't dead, it's just having a midlife crisis. Let's hope it finds itself soon. Before the next movie requires a glossary, a spreadsheet, and a live translator to explain why the raccoon is crying again. And if it doesn't, well, there's always video games to go ruin. Hey, do yourself a favor, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more of my award-winning personality to fix your day. I'm out of here.